What's up YouTube, Saf here on Super Saf TV, and these are my first impressions of the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. So as a lot of you already know, I got hold of these yesterday and I've been doing lots of tests with both of them. Camera comparisons, speed tests, you can check out all those videos on the channel. And now that I've had a little bit more time to spend with both of these, I've formed my initial impressions, and there's a lot of questions that a lot of you have been asking as well. So hopefully I can answer those in this short video. And then obviously later on we will be having a full in-depth comparison between these two in the full review. So initially starting off with the size difference, the size difference is something that a lot of people are talking about. The iPhone 6 Plus is considerably larger compared to the iPhone 6. If I just put them here side by side, you can see that there's quite a big difference in terms of the size. The iPhone 6 is very, very compact and nice to hold. It's a 4.7-inch screen. Now, if you compare it here to the Samsung Galaxy S5, you can see that it's smaller than the Samsung Galaxy S5, which has a 5.1-inch screen, and it is quite comfortable to hold. I've got medium-sized hands roughly, so there's a notification there, but yeah, I've got medium-sized hands, and for me I can actually reach pretty much all corners of the device with one hand. So one-handed usage on the iPhone 6 is really, really good. Now the iPhone 6 Plus, when you come to that, let's get rid of that notification. Anyway, yeah, with the iPhone 6 Plus now, as you can see in my hand, it just about fits. It is slightly on the larger side. Personally, I am used to using larger phones such as the OnePlus One, magically appeared here. And if we put these side by side, you can see they're very, very similar in size. This also has a 5.5-inch screen. So if I put the OnePlus One in front of the iPhone 6, you can see that the iPhone 6 is actually taller, even though it's got the same size screen. And it's also ever so slightly wider compared to the OnePlus One. Although it is thinner, this device is very, very thin, as is the iPhone 6. Now, this is going to come down to personal preference. A larger screen device does come with disadvantages. You've got better resolution in here, and you've got that real estate as well with that larger screen. And obviously the battery is also going to be a great benefit. Battery life, we're not too sure about that yet. That will be covered in the full review. What I would advise is that if you're still confused as to which one to go for, then I'd definitely recommend go in to an Apple store and check these out hands-on, because nothing's going to give you a better impression until you've actually had these hands-on, and you can really see if it's going to fit for you, because everyone has different size hands, everyone has different personal preferences. So that's definitely what I recommend. Now, looking at the design of both of these, they look very, very nice and slick. They are very, very premium as well. Apple always uses very premium materials for the devices. So overall, in terms of the looks, they look absolutely great, and I especially like these space gray versions. What I don't like is these antenna lines. These antenna lines look quite cheap to me, really. They're not so obvious on the space gray version, and also the white version they're not so obvious on. But if you look at the gold version, you've got a gold back with white lines. Now, when I saw this in store, I was kind of like taken back by it, and I was thinking, whoa, that looks quite cheap for an Apple device. I really think they could have done they could have come up with a better way to have these antenna lines. Look at the HTC One M8 and the HTC One. That has some antenna lines, but nobody's ever complained about those because they look absolutely fine and they look very, very slick. I think this is something that is a bit of a design flaw. But as I said, on the space gray version as well as the white and silver version, it's not so bad. So this is something to bear in mind. I do think it looks very, very cheap on the gold version because of the difference, and they stand out ever so much more. Now, the other design thing that a lot of people have been talking about online is that protruding camera lens, which pops out on both devices. Now, this is a little bit annoying if you're not going to be using your phone with a case, because when you put it flat on a table, it is going to wobble. It's not going to be directly flat on there. But the solution I think is best is to use it in a case. Now, I've just been sent this case from Boxwave, so thanks to them for that. I'll be dropping a link in the description below if you want to go ahead and pick one of these up. But once you've got a case on, then it's actually not a problem, because the case is sort of the same thickness as that lens. So that protruding lens isn't much of an issue, and it is protected by a case. So personally, I do use my phones in a case. This is a very expensive phone, as is the iPhone 6 Plus. So I do tend to use it in a case, and plus because of this aluminium or aluminum, depending on where you're from, build, it is a little bit slippery, and those curved edges do make it a little bit slippery, so it could fall out your hand. There was somebody who actually dropped their phone and cracked it on the first day. I'm sure a lot of you have already seen that video. So that's just something to bear in mind. Personally, I would put it in a case, and if you're going to put it in the case, then the protruding lens isn't going to be much of a problem. For me, it hasn't been much of a problem. Now, speaking of the cameras, I've done an in-depth comparison of the cameras between the iPhone 6 Plus and the iPhone 6. Now that is available on the channel, and that is the ice cream van, which I'll probably be going to later on. Okay. Anyway, so in terms of the camera differences, I've done an in-depth comparison on the channel. I'll be linking that in the description below. You can go ahead and check that out. In conclusion, I don't think there's that much of a difference between these cameras. I know the iPhone 6 Plus has optical image stabilization, which does give you somewhat more stable footage, but the iPhone 6 does have digital image stabilization, which is also very, very good. So I do really like the iPhone 6 camera as well. And I couldn't really find much of a difference generally. I mean, I was thinking the optical image stabilization would definitely help in low light scenarios, but that really wasn't the case. It was pretty much the same between these two, so that's something to bear in mind. I definitely recommend you go ahead and check out that video. Now, if you are thinking of going for the 6 Plus just for that optical image stabilization, personally I don't think just for that is a great idea. Obviously, if you want the bigger screen, larger battery and other things, then definitely it is worth it. But if it's just for the camera, then I definitely don't think it's worth it. Now, in terms of usability, both of these have been super fast. I've done some speed tests with the Samsung Galaxy S5, and they are absolutely fine in terms of speed. I don't think you're going to have any problems with speed. One thing to bear in mind is that apps aren't fully optimized as yet. Most apps aren't optimized for these larger resolutions. Got larger resolutions on both the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. So right now, a lot of the apps look quite fuzzy and pixelated because they've been scaled up to fit these new resolutions. And that is especially... And I just dropped it. It's fine, it's fine. But anyway. Flip it now. Anyway, so yeah, on the iPhone 6 Plus, it is a lot more obvious the scaling up because you've gone to a much larger resolution. So this is quite obvious on the iPhone 6 Plus. And this shouldn't be a problem because in the next few weeks, the apps should be updated to support these new resolutions. But if you do pick up an iPhone in the next few days and you notice, hey, what the hell's going on? Why do all my apps look fuzzy? That is the reason behind it. So, I mean, those are my initial impressions of the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. Overall, I think they are quite impressive phones and a lot of people will be liking them. A lot of people do like them. And without a doubt, they're going to be very, very popular. Now, this is just an initial impressions. I will be doing a full hands-on review and comparison between these two. So if there is anything in particular that you want me to cover in that review, then be sure to drop that in the comment section below so then I know what to cover. And I'll be trying to cover as much as I can. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, as always, please do hit that thumbs up button for me. It really does help me out. And why not subscribe to the channel? I've got plenty more content coming up on here. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on Super Saf TV. I'll see you next time. If you want to see more regular videos like this one, then be sure to hit the subscribe button, which will be below. If you're on a mobile device, it may be somewhere else. If you want to see my previous related video, then hit the link right here. If you want to stay in touch over Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, then all of the addresses will be there somewhere, as well as direct links in the description below. Okay, if you're still watching, then that means you've not done one of those things, so, no. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just gonna go downstairs. See. Okay. There isn't really a downstairs. Anyway, so yeah.